Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. My name is Ron Tyler. We want to welcome you to our show tonight. We are coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. I want to welcome everybody who's going to be here at our show tonight, here in the chat or otherwise. I want to welcome you here. As we've been doing for quite some time, we're going to start off this program with the singing of the United States National Anthem. I would ask everyone now to please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now would you make welcome, straight from Washington, D.C., the United States Army Corps Quartet.
Yeah.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Oh, yeah! Come on, folks, let them know it.
America's finest, the United States Army Barbershop Quartet, performing at the Barbershop Quartet Convention in 2015. We want to welcome them to do this, thank them for doing this, and another thing, we want to also thank our armed forces, wherever they might be around this world. Not just the Army, the Marine Corps, the Navy, the Air Force, the Coast Guard, and Space Force as well. I want to also thank our military forces from abroad, all of our allies around the world. Thank you very much for what you do, helping protect your country and helping the United States keep a tab on the world as well. God bless you all. May you all return home to your families after your tours of duty end. God bless you all. Thank you very much for being here. Now, folks, as we have started this program out before, I want to ask everybody, please check your subscriptions to this program. YouTube has been unsubscribing a lot of people over the last couple of weeks. A lot. Yet we have gained a few. Check your subscription. Make sure you're still subscribed to this program. Also, there's another thing. Right next to that little subscription button, there is a little bell icon. Just a tiny bell icon. Click on that. When you click on that, a drop-down menu of free items is going to come up. Click on the word AL, all. That should get you notified when we come on the air. For those of you that are not getting notified, you need to unsubscribe and immediately resubscribe to our program. Then click on that bell icon, click on the word all. That should get you subscribed to our channel, and also to make sure that you are getting notified when we come on the air. A lot of people aren't getting notified. Even some of my mods aren't getting notified. Last night, one of my buddies, Don Patoka, who's a moderator on this channel, said he had to unsubscribe, resubscribe, and click on that bell icon to get notified when we come on the air, because they had unsubscribed him again. And he's a mod. He's been with this program for about 6 years now, and he's a mod. And he was unsubscribed by YouTube. Now, yes, I've heard the statement from YouTube saying, oh, we unsubscribe those people that aren't participating on YouTube or are not watching YouTube on a regular basis. Oh, if that's so, then why are our subscribers being unsubscribed? Interesting. So please check your subscriptions. Make sure you get notified when we come on the air, and then take those steps. Resubscribe, click on that notification bell, click on the word all. That way you get notified when we come on the air. We always come on the air. Well, I can't say that. I'm sorry. Most of the time we come on the air between 6 and 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. Monday through Thursday we talk about almost everything under the sun, including earthquakes and other solar flares and such going on. Now we're going to do that again. Okay? But we also talk about politics in the United States that might affect other parts of the world. We do that. The other day we talked about a shooting that happened in Sweden, in one of my towns where my family came from, in Örebro, Sweden, where I was there. The other day, on I believe it was Monday or Tuesday this week, they had a school shooting at a college in Örebro, Sweden. Killed 11 people and injured 5 others. Unreal. It happens. Now, in Sweden, it doesn't usually happen. That's the first school shooting they've ever had. And the person that did it had a licensed firearm. In Sweden, you have to be licensed to carry a firearm. That person was licensed, and he still screwed up and killed somebody. It's very sad. We're monitoring that situation as well. Total Vagabonds is here from Ireland. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. I haven't seen our buddy Demon Catman here. He is usually here from east of England. He's one of our mods here and a very good friend of mine. We appreciate him. We appreciate all of you around the world that tune into this channel. We have people from Romania. We have people from the Czech Republic. We have people from Croatia. We have people from South America, from Central America and Costa Rica. We have people from Australia, from Sweden, from New Zealand, from Indonesia, Japan, Canada, people from all over the world. Ireland and also Greenland, people have been here before. We appreciate you all. Okay? We appreciate you very much. Rebecca the Explorer says she's sick, so she's only watching. Rebecca, I hope you have a good night as well. We hope you're going to feel better soon. Rebecca is also a dear friend of mine, a moderator on this channel, and she's very, very special. She also has a channel here, and those of you that haven't seen her channel, go to the Rebecca the Explorer here on YouTube and tune into her channel and give her some love. Give her some love. She does a great job where she's at. Okay? She's been here on YouTube, and YouTube keeps suppressing her program. She's only got a little over 2,000 subscribers on her program. That's sad. Having a channel for that many years, she's only got that many subscribers because YouTube doesn't like her. Too bad. Too bad. She's continuing to be here. Rebecca did not get any notifications tonight either. Rebecca, have you lately unsubscribed and resubscribed and hit that notification bell? You might need to do that again. Okay? Try it. Try it. But we appreciate all of you here. We really do. It means a lot to us. S. Norton, one of my dear friends here, is also here. Hi, Ron. I've been devoid of your handsome face for 2 days now. You did not even show up at all. 2 times now this has happened. Yes, I was on the air last night. In fact, twice. Once about 7 o'clock and again about 10:30 at night last night. We've been on using our phone. We've been using our phone to be able to get on the air because our computer was screwed up. By the way, let me give you some history about that. It was screwed up for nearly a week. Right before it screwed up last Friday, we had a Microsoft Windows update. That's what's one of the biggest reasons it got screwed up. When Microsoft did that update, it knocked off a bunch of, what shall I say, drivers and other updates that it should have had. So last night, one of our friends over at, well, he has his own program. His name's Kerry Holtzman. He's a very dear friend of mine now. He's helped me a lot. If you guys have computer problems, go to Kerry Holtzman here on YouTube. He talks about computers and computer repair. He's a great man. He's got a lot of chutzpah, and he knows what he's talking about. So I urge you to also check into his channel, Kerry Holtzman, C-A-R-E-Y, Holtzman, H-O-L-Z-M-A-N. He's a great man. He helped me with my computer. Also, he helped reestablish my OBS. When that stupid Microsoft update happened, it knocked some of the properties off my broadcasting software. It's called OBS. He helped me with that as well. Last night at 10:30 last night, we finally got everything fixed. It looks like we're still on the air today, which is a good thing. But I really appreciate that as well. You guys are asking me to turn up my mic. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can do that. Okay. Let's see if I can turn this up a bit here. Testing 1, 2, 3. Test, test, test. Testing 1, 2, 3. Test, test, test. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Test, test, test. Hello, hello, hello. Everybody hear me? Can everybody hear me now? How are we doing, guys? Is this audio any better? Rebecca says better. That's good. I hope that does it. Okay? I'll try to talk directly into the microphone here to make sure you guys hear me. Okay? I'll try. Occasionally I wander away out here, or out here, out here. I'll try to talk directly into the microphone here. Okay? Let me fix that. Okay? That should be better here. Berlinda says good. Renee Steffi says 5x5. Total Vagabonds 5x5. Sleeping Volcano's here. She says good. Sleeping Volcano, we're glad you're here. Sleeping Volcano is also a very dear friend of ours. If you're on Facebook Messenger, we have a channel called Volcanoes and Quakes and Volcanoes. You might, if you want to go over there, check into that messenger and tune into there. Sleeping Volcano handles the earthquakes and volcano updates on that particular, which I call it, thread. She's great. Sleeping Volcano is awesome, in fact, okay? I highly admire her. Now, there is a man that used to be here also on our channel named Larry Smith. Larry Smith died last year. Larry Smith was a very dear friend of mine. When I get to thinking about him, I get very sad because I have known him for a lot of years. Larry was a disaster drill expert. He and I participated in disaster drills for the past, I want to say, 20 years. Larry was an expert when it came to hurricanes and weather-related events. In fact, he wrote the book on hurricane recovery. He went when the earthquake happened over in Haiti. He was there and helping the people recover their country in Haiti. He also has helped when hurricanes have hit Haiti the Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico. He was awesome. Hurricane Heather says 2 years now. It might be close to 2 years. I have missed him every day. I missed him every day. I said a year ago. It might have been a year, maybe 2 years ago, but I missed him every day. He was a great man. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to give you that information because I thought it was best. Okay? Rebecca says her sound was down. Oops. Okay. At least I hope this sound is better than it was. Okay, that's very important. Now, I'm going to start off this broadcast by talking about immigration. Okay? I want to tell you what's going on. Right here. This is the border czar, Tom Homan. Today he spoke with the press outside the White House. I want to play this video for you. It will give you some good insight into what happened here today and what has been happening here in the United States and around the world. Here's Tom Homan.
Coming by. Please step to the mic, sir.
Let me ask you about Trinidad Aragua. How many people were arrested in yesterday's operation? And was this a part of this Aurora operation promise that Trump made, or was it separate arrests? How many were arrested yesterday?
Well, President Trump made a promise to the American people that we're going to concentrate on Trinidad Aragua. They're one of our priorities. As far as yesterday, operational security, the operation was leaked. And again, we're going to hold those people accountable once we find out what the leaks occurred. This isn't a game. When the operations get leaked like that, it puts our officers at great risk. It's already a dangerous job. We know TDA is dangerous. Everybody can agree to that. But when they get a heads up we're coming, it's only a matter of time before our officers are ambushed. And their job's dangerous enough. So we're going to address this very seriously. And look, I said from day one, we want to be transparent with the American people. We've invited numerous media outlets along. But right now, it's all about OPSEC, Operation Security. So we may have to stop the media ride-alongs because I'm not pointing the finger at them, but the less people that know about these operations, the safer it is for our agents. So we're looking at that right now. I'm talking to Colonel Levitt about the next steps on that.
Sir, why was Chicago singled out in the lawsuit today against sanctuary cities?
Look, sanctuary cities are sanctuary for criminals. I'm glad we got Pam Bondi running the DOJ now. Sanctuary cities are sanctuary for criminals. Make that clear. No, they want the sanctuary officials say, well, we want victims and witnesses of immigration and crime to be free to come to the police and without fear of us working with ICE. That is such crap. Because the victims and witnesses of crime don't want the public safety threat released in their communities. That's just ridiculous. The victims and witnesses of that crime want that bad guy locked up too. And when they're done, then give them to us. That keeps the community safer. If anybody wants an immigrant community, ask them a simple question: would you rather have ICE operating in a jail or the community? They're going to say they want us in a jail because these immigrant communities, many are here illegally, but they also are family people too. They don't want a predator in their neighborhood, release back in the community. So, we're going to hold sanctuary cities accountable. We're going to take them on it, and we'll take them to court. Again, it's everybody, every elected mayor, every elected governor, every elected city councilman. You would think they would want their community safe too, and they would want public safety threats removed from their community. That's your number one responsibility, is protection communities. Work with us. Let us in the jail to arrest and talk to the guy that you locked in a jail cell. You obviously locked him in a jail cell because he's a public safety threat. Let us talk to him. When you're done, give him to us. You don't have to hold him a minute. I've seen some sheriffs say, well, we're not going to hold him for eyes. We think it's a legal issue. You don't have to hold him a minute past what you know. Just let us know when you release him. Let us be there. Let law enforcement work for law enforcement.
Do you want Catholic Relief Services? Sir, Catholic Relief Services says it's facing drastic internal cuts. It's asking President Trump to please keep the foreign aid going. Talking about Catholic Relief Services. What do you say, sir?
I got no comment on that. That's not. I'm a border guy.
Do you want local police? Do you want local police to make arrests at traffic stops?
I want local police to do what they can to assist arresting and removing public safety threats from the communities.
Are you concerned about capacity? There's reports that some migrants are being released because ICE beds are over capacity. And
I'm not worried. There are many ways to increase the bed capacity. That's what we're working on today.
Are some detainees being released?
I was made aware of that this morning, and I'll address that today. But I've been told that some were released because of some health concerns that we could not handle within ICE detention. So I have a meeting with ICE leadership today to find out exactly who was released and why, but the President made it clear we're ending catch and release.
6% were released according to the press secretary yesterday. Does that go against the President's promise?
I'm going to find out again. I just got back in town today. I heard about this morning, so I'll address that today. I'll have to get back to you on that.
Can you remind to increase capacity?
How many and what does that process look like?
So look, we've had a migrant processing center at Gitmo for decades, so we're increasing our footprint there. It makes sense. I just got a question on migrant beds. That's going to be another place where we have up to 30,000 beds. And President Trump made a commitment that the worst of the worst will go to Gitmo, and that's what we're concentrating on.
Mr. Holman, do you feel like ICE is doing enough? Are they meeting their marks for your expectations? Do you think that they're meeting them?
Are we making enough arrests? Is that the question?
Do you think ICE is doing enough, that they're meeting their quotas?
No, they're doing a great job. Look, we're doing a great job. We got to do more. And that's what we're looking at now. We're looking at ways to create more efficiencies to do more. That's why OPSEC is important. When we go on these operations, the operating got leaked somehow, it makes us less successful. Again, when you leak an operation, it means more bad guys are not being arrested, which means more bad guys are walking the streets. So as we address that, you're going to see the arrests increase. As the aperture opens up beyond the criminals, you're going to see more arrests. I made it clear: if you're in the country illegally, you're not off the table.
ICE hasn't posted arrest number in several days. Is that because arrests are down?
No, I think the arrest numbers. I looked at it. I just talked about it this morning. I think the arrests are right around over 11,000 so far since day one. On the interior, 11,000. But the most important thing to look at, the border numbers. I mean, yesterday at 24 hours, there was less than 500 border arrests. It wasn't too long ago. We had 11,000 arrests a day under the Biden administration. We got less than 500. I've done this since 1984. Those numbers are historic. So the president's already had this border secured at a high rate, and we're going to continue to secure the border 100%. This administration under President Trump will finally have operational control of our southern border.
Are you saying
how long
the
will
leak came from the
detainees
press,
be
or do you have any
staying?
theories of where the leak originated from ahead of this operation?
That's being investigated now.
How long will migrants be staying at Guantanamo? How long will they stay there?
We're going to follow the same legal process we follow here, except they'll be bedded down at Gitmo rather than bedded down in the United States. The same legal process, the same requirements to see a judge, the same requirements they can make a claim. So it's just a matter of where they're located. But it's a place that we can build upon, that we can send the worst of the worst to sit in that Gitmo. And it makes perfect sense to me what we're doing.
Visas for foreign-born Catholic priests who work legally in U.S. parishes and Catholic social services. Where does that stand right now?
I do not know how to get back to you on that.
Texas Governor Abbott has offered thousands of prison cells in Texas to house detainees. Do you plan to take them up on that offer? And also the 1,400 acres that they had offered for a detention center.
Look, I met with hundreds of sheriffs. We were looking at, contracts with sheriffs for their beds, which come at a reduced cost. The most expensive beds we have, the one the U.S. government owns. So we're looking at the sheriffs across the country, and Governor Abbott made an offer yesterday. So we'll be looking at that. All cards on the table. We're looking for as many beds as we can get. We just got to hope Congress gives the funding to buy as many beds we need. And I know they're talking about that today. So hopefully we'll get a budget. We can increase the bed capacity.
When do you think the deportation flights to Guatemala and El Salvador start after Rubio's agreement?
Mexican National Guard at the border. Do you have any idea what their mission is going to look like?
It's the same as the first Trump administration. They're going to help us secure the border. I mean, President Trump has made it clear Mexico has to help. Guarding their northern borders keeps Mexico safe too. But the president been clear that the border is going to be secured. While partnership with Mexico is very important, and having their people on the northern border, along with what Pete Hegseth has sent to the southern border along the border place, it means a more secure border. We know the death threats and the violent threats being made by the cartels will help be diminished with the presence of our military, our Border Patrol, Mexican military. It only makes sense. It helps secure the border and helps protect our officers and agents.
Okay. Getting the border secured and making sure that the country of Mexico is having its soldiers over on the south side of our U.S. border here in the United States, helping us get rid of those cartel members over there, can also save our Border Patrol lives, our police officers' lives, and our military as well. President Trump last week sent 10,000 Marines down to the border in California and Arizona. 10,000 Marines. Think about that. 10,000 Marines. If they were shoulder to shoulder, or within maybe 100 feet of each other, even then, they could cover the border all the way into Arizona. They aren't doing that. Those men and women of the United States Marine Corps are assisting our Border Patrol to make sure that we catch those that try to come across illegally. As Tom Homan said, prior to President Trump coming into office, we had upwards of 16,000 border crossings every day. Every day. Think about that. Since President Trump came in and secured the border, clamped down. He clamped down. Not only did he bring in the military, but he also clamped down on who was coming in. Now we might have probably no more than 400 a day coming in. That's sure story of what's actually going on at the border. Now, yes, we still have people coming in illegally. That also will stop as we get more and more of the border fence up. President Trump and the Marine Corps and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and and a couple other companies are working on putting the border fence up, finishing it. I think we have maybe 200 miles of border fence to put up, and then we will have a secure border with a fence. Now, with that said, we're still going to have cameras. We're still going to have helicopter flights over the border. We're still going to have Border Patrol up and down the border because we need that secure. It's not going to change. That's going to happen. But with the help of Mexico putting 10,000 Mexican troops on the south side of the border, it's helping us control the cartel. Now, Mr. Homan, Tom Homan, and the president have said we may have to go into Mexico. Our military may have to go into Mexico and take out the cartel, and they can do that. The United States military can do that. They have the intelligence. They have the intelligence to know where these cartel members are, and we can take them out. We can eliminate the cartel from even getting near our border. Now, it's not just our border and our country that the cartel is hurting. They're hurting citizens in Mexico as well, and hurting other people that have come into Mexico as well. Now, those people that have come into our country illegally, the cartel has helped them. But some of those people paid upwards of $10,000 to $15,000 each for the privilege of the cartel to help them cross the border. Now that is coming to a strict halt. It's coming to a quick halt. Why? Because, folks, our ICE members, Immigration Customs Enforcement people, and our police are assisting ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement, to arrest them, take them into custody, arrest them, and put them on an Air Force jet to take them back where they came from. Venezuela's caved. The first one we tried to land a plane with immigrants, putting them back in Venezuela, Venezuelan president wouldn't let us do it. He backed down. Mexican President Sheinbaum also said the same thing. She backed down. China's also backed down. Other countries have also backed down. Okay? President Trump is ruler. President Trump is the president of the United States, not a namby-pamby idiot like our past presidents were. President Trump is getting the job done. Now, over in Denver today, I want to show you what's going on in Denver. Okay? We had some Border Patrol arresting people over in Denver. However, what happened there? I want to tell you the story, but I'm going to have ICE tell you the story. Okay? We had informants. The news media let the migrants, illegal people from Venezuela, the Tren de Aragua gang in Denver, in a town outside of Denver called Aurora, Colorado. As you remember, last year, Tren de Aragua came from Venezuela. Most of the prisons had gang members from Tren de Aragua. They released them from the prisons. They came across the border, and they've created havoc. If you remember the news media telling us that Tren de Aragua had raided apartment buildings and kicked people out that were renting there. They took over the apartment buildings. Guess what? Today, ICE showed up. But our own news media showed up as well, and they gave the information to the gang members, and they only Immigration Customs Enforcement only arrested one gang member. Let me show you this. Again, this is over in Denver, over in Aurora, Colorado, just east of Denver.
We are refugees in this world. We should support each other.
On my neighbors, which I didn't do. It's insulting and infuriating because I would never snitch on my neighbors.
She said she never snitched on her neighbors.
They're mostly families. That's it. I mean, they're families. They work, they come home, they have kids who play. Like, it gets a little loud and rowdy at some point, but they're just people.
They think they can go door to door, building to building, block to block. They think they can make us be silent. Stand up, fight back. Stand up, fight back. Stand up, fight back.
They are coming illegal to my house. They shouldn't have a warning papers, and they don't have it. They don't have anything. We are human here, like we are refugee, not from our countries. We from God. We are refugee in this world. We should support each other. We should stuck together. The dictatorship, especially like Trump demonstration, is a dictator right now. What he's doing is unfair. It's hunting the human being in the world. It's unfair for me.
You have the right to an attorney. Don't sign anything.
The immigrant said what we were doing was illegal, but he doesn't know what he's talking about. Police officers had to kick in a few doors to get in there and arrest one person. And they took weapons out of that apartment. Illegal weapons, unregistered weapons.
Well, it started with a message in our tenant chat group. I got a message from my neighbor saying that cops were going from door to door. And then we figured out it was ICE. And about 5 minutes later, I got a knock on my own door. About 6 armed, heavily armed officers demanding an ID.
This is getting something illegal.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. This is the law. You get a warrant. You do not show up how you showed up today and try to meet a quota.
We're very scared. We're heartbroken. It's a very sad thing to see. And it's also very scary to see all of this surrounding your home.
It's very scary, but guess what? If their mayors had not allowed it to happen, it would not have happened. It's a fact. If their mayors had not allowed it to happen, it would not have happened. Let me show you another video here of the news, Fox News talking about it this morning.
The White House revealing nearly 200 illegal immigrants, gang members, have been arrested since Trump returned to office. And it comes after federal officials round up over 100 violent Venezuelan gang members in Colorado who have terrorized apartment buildings in the city. In his first interview since being appointed, U.S. Border Patrol Chief Michael Banks joins us now. Chief, welcome to the program. Congratulations. As people may or may not know, you used to be the Texas Border Czar. You were a Border Patrol agent before that, and you come on back home to get our border secure. Talk about these latest numbers that you have and how you guys have been able to get it done, Chief.
So look, the U.S. Border Patrol, we know how to get the job done. We know how to secure the border. All we needed was a president that was going to empower us, a strong leader like President Trump, and then a secretary like Secretary Noem that knows exactly what we need to do to secure the border. We're seeing almost a 90% decrease in illegal entries since January the 21st. Not only that, but our criminal prosecutions of those we're apprehending is up almost 52%. You talked about, you led in with the Tren de Agua. Our U.S. Border Patrol BORTAC unit is out there with ICE making those arrests. And so, look, Border Patrol knows how to secure the border. All we needed was an administration that would let us enforce the law, and we're out there, and we are seeing phenomenal gains on the border.
So, Chief, let's talk about that, because I was made aware through some of my sources within the community that were out there on those raids yesterday that there were some leaks from local media that tipped off the local activists on the ground, and it made your jobs difficult. But this is also an officer safety issue. You got all these tactical units going in for a reason in a stack, because you got criminal aliens that are on the street that have weapons, that have grenades, that have all type of things. Talk about the leaks that have been going out from the media.
And so, you know what, it's just irresponsible. The fact is, we're going after known criminals. We are targeting criminals, and leaking and letting them know we're coming is creating more of a danger for not just our officers and agents, but for the very communities that we're trying to enforce and make safe and secure. You know what, it's just irresponsible to be communicating ahead of time what we are going to be doing in a law enforcement operation. We've got to hold the press accountable to not put the public in danger. They're putting my officers in danger. They're putting agents in danger, and it's just unacceptable.
Part of the reason why you have been letting the media know is to be transparent, because there's been a lot of misinformation put out there to the public saying that you're going after U.S. citizens, that you're targeting Aveyah and families and all that. When right now, based on what the president has said, Department of Justice has said, and Homeland Security, guys are going after criminal aliens, people that are rapists, murderers. I've been told by some of my sources that you guys are considering a media blackout because it's putting your officers' safety at risk right now.
And if that's what it takes to ensure the safety of my Border Patrol agents and the community, that's what we'll do. And I can tell you that it's just nonsense. It's rhetoric that we're targeting. There was a news report that we're going to target school buses and children on school buses. It's absurd. And if you want to talk about abuelas, my abuela is a naturalized citizen from Mexico. We're surely not targeting abuelas. We're not targeting U.S. citizens. We're not targeting people that are in this country illegally, right? We don't have the authority to go after someone in this country illegally. We're targeting criminals and those that have broken the law by entering the country illegally.
So, Chief, one of the things that you have at your disposal now is an AG in Bondi who is going to follow the law. And she laid out her day one directive, which included eliminating cartels. In a new memo, she revealed that the Mexican cartel they're targeting Border Patrol agents with drones, explosives. I was just down there at the border with you and the Secretary of Defense. Tell me what you're going to do to keep your officers safe as a result of the cartel being frustrated with y'all's work so far.
And so, as we expect, when we push hard, the criminals are going to push back, and we're prepared for that. We're trained. We've got the equipment and the technology to support us. Our officer safety and our agent safety is number one, and so we're not going to tolerate that. But going back to what the new AG said in Pam Bondi is, we need the support of the DOJ to actually prosecute these individuals. If there's an assault on an agent, there should be no question that agent is going to be processed or that criminal is going to be processed to the full extent of the law. Consequence has actions, and the reason why we've seen an almost 90% drop is because people now understand that they're not going to be caught and released. They're going to be caught, they're going to be prosecuted, and they're going to be processed and removed. It goes for the same thing for anyone who's willing to put their hands on one of my agents. The U.S. Attorney's Office has got to prosecute these individuals to ensure they send a clear message. You will not lay a hand on an agent, or you're going to feel the full brunt of the U.S. government.
You guys got an excellent team. You're working together. Y'all have known each other for years. And part of the reason why the cartel is upset is because their tunnels are now filled with concrete. A lot of their contraband has been taken away, and their entire criminal enterprise of getting people across the border has been disrupted, and the drugs have as well. Chief, stay safe. Please give my regards to your men and women out there. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
They're filling those tunnels with concrete. Yes, some of them. Others they blow up. They destroy them, so nobody can use them again. There are thousands of tunnels up and down the border, headed north, from Texas all the way to San Diego, California, where I used to work. I've seen them. I assisted ICE and other members of the government to blowing up those tunnels. Incredible. I've seen it happen. It's rather unfortunate when I would get called to the border to help transport a woman that's trying to have a baby from Mexico get to a hospital in the United States. Yes, I was asked to go to the border many times. Go to the border many times to help assist Border Patrol or Customs Border Enforcement going down there, and then they say this lady showed up at the border and she wanted to be transported to a hospital to have her baby. Before I left San Diego to go to Denver, some of that was stopping. They were sending those pregnant women back to Mexico, telling them go find a hospital in Tijuana. They had no business doing that. But because it's been done before, they just expected that to happen. And now they're still doing it. That's one of the reasons that President Trump this past week put into one of his executive orders that there would be no more birthright citizenship here in this country. Because these illegals were coming to the border, having babies, and then their babies would allow them to stay in the United States because now the babies are American citizens. That's going to stop. That's definitely going to stop. And I honestly don't give a flying rat's butt what happens, except it's going to stop. Okay? During President Trump's first week in office, President Trump signed 10 executive orders on immigration and issued a slew of edicts to carry out promises of mass deportations of these illegals that came into this country. Over 25 million illegals have come into this country in the last 4 years of the Biden administration. Biden allowed it to happen. He allowed it to happen. Biden told Harris, his vice president, he told Harris that she was going to be the border czar, yet she never made it to the border. She never did a darn thing about it. Nothing. But meantime, good old Biden takes his presidential orders and he tells the Border Patrol they have to dismantle the wall. They have to dismantle the wall, allowing people to just come and go as they please. But they never go, they came. They came into the United States and they didn't leave. That was a ploy for the Biden administration and the Democrat Party to get those people that came from the south of the border, whether they be from whatever country. Over 140 countries participated in the illegal immigration into this country. That was because the Democrat Party thought that they could get these people to come into this country and vote for Democrats the rest of their lives to keep the Democrat Communist Party in power. That ended 2 weeks ago. The Trump administration has highlighted the participation of other agencies in ICE operations, Immigration Customs Enforcement operations, including the FBI, Drug Enforcement Administration, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco and Firearms and Explosives, FBI. Yesterday, actually last night, Pam Bondi was sworn in as President Trump's Attorney General. She's a new United States Attorney General. She was sworn in by a judge in Washington, D.C. pretty much late last night. Okay? But she's now the Attorney General. But there's something else you need to know. There's something else that you need to know. Let me see. I guess I don't have that picture. I'm going to find that picture to show to all of you. I think it's very important that everybody know what Pam Bondi has on her plate as of this morning. Okay? As of this morning, she's had a great deal to do today. A lot. A ton of things. Number one, she's trying to help the president take out these people from their places in the country. Trying to help protect our police. Trying to seize power over there to make sure that the laws get enforced. Because for years now, the laws were not getting enforced at all. Literally at all. It has not happened. Okay? It's very unfortunate it has not happened. Now, I want to show you another one here. Just a second. Let me try to bring this up for you. It keeps happening. These people keep coming across, except now they're coming across in smaller numbers. 400 per day instead of 6,000 a day. Incredible. Incredible numbers. Just a second here. This wasn't important. I wouldn't have cared about it, but I believe this picture is very important. Well, I'll be darned. Okay, let me go in here just one more time here, guys. I'm sorry. Just a second here. Okay, now it should come up right here. And unfortunately, it came in too big. I'm going to have to reduce that in size. Sorry about that. This is what Pam Bondi has on our plate this morning. Combat the weaponization of the legal system. What did President Biden have to do with the legal system? What did he have to do? Biden went after President Trump to try to make sure that he could not become the president of the United States again. President Biden got 2 assassins to try to take out President Trump. Both of them failed. One of them shot the president. The other one missed and ended up getting arrested and is still in a Florida jail. Reinstate the federal death penalty. Before Biden left office, he took out the death penalty, stopped it from happening. It's now happened again. Last week he was in office, he pardoned. He pardoned and commuted prisoners' sentences. He took people off of death row that had been there awaiting execution. Today, Pam Bondi is also working with the Department of Homeland Security to completely eliminate the cartels. Yes, the cartels have come into the United States from Mexico. They come into the United States from Mexico. The cartels are all out throughout the world. Pam Bondi is going to try to help other countries also eliminate the drug cartels and stop the drugs from coming in here to the United States. She's terminating the DEI programs at the DOJ. The diversity, equity, and inclusion policies in all the departments of the United States government have been halted by President Trump. And Pam Bondi is also here to make sure that all the DEI programs, even at DOJ, the Department of Justice, are going to end. Okay? The DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion policies were discriminatory and should never have happened. They cost a lot of money. Okay? The other day, I believe it was the day before yesterday, I found out that Biden was spending $1 trillion on the DEI policies of the government, making sure diversity, equity, and inclusion was included in all the departments of the federal government. That's ending. Okay? Another one, addresses zealous advocacy in the DOJ. No more will we have overzealous Department of Justice employees thinking they can just do whatever they want to do and run amok. That's going to end. Create task force based on the October 7th attack. What happened on October 7th? That attack was over in Israel. Okay? Creating a task force based and focused on what happened in Israel to make sure it doesn't happen here. Not allowing a foreign government to have access to the United States to attack the country. Not going to happen. Okay? Over in Israel, the Hamas people from Palestine came up there on the small one-person floating aircraft. Okay? Single-seater aircraft coming in, and they killed 200 Israelis. They killed 200 Israelis and took a bunch of people hostage and took them back to Palestine as hostages. Pam Bondi's also paused funding to sanctuary cities. One of the things, like I said, that President Trump put into motion the first day he was in office, is to eliminate sanctuary city status. No city, not Los Angeles, not Chicago, not New York. No city or county here in the United States is allowed to be a sanctuary city to protect the illegal aliens that have come into this country. Not going to happen. President Trump and Tom Homan have said that if the politicians get in the way, they will be arrested. If the politicians, the mayors or governors of those cities or the county councils get in the way of the Border Patrol and Customs Immigration Enforcement and stop them from doing their job, taking out the illegal aliens and transporting them back to where they came from, the politicians will also be arrested. And yes, Pam Bondi is gearing up to prosecute each and every one of them. She's doing a great job. Linda Covington says, check out, she's wearing a cross on her necklace. She needs to wear that cross all the time. It sends a good message. Now, it's not just Pam Bondi that's been wearing a cross necklace on her neck. The President's press secretary has also been doing that. More power to her. But that's what Pam Bondi has on her plate right now. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot more. Now, Congress has been fighting with Pam Bondi as well to make sure she's not going to enforce President Trump's policies. If you remember this past week, good old pencil neck Adam Schiff, now a senator, former congressman, was yelling at Pam Bondi and trying to get her to say that she would not help President Trump with anything. Now it's happened. Pam Bondi is going to help President Trump. Pam Bondi is going to enforce the law. She's going to enforce the law as the law is. Okay? She's not going to allow the politicians, meaning Congress or the Senate, push her around and stop her from doing her job. Okay? Now, over in Los Angeles, when we're talking about ICE, Customs, Border Enforcement, Immigration, Customs, Border Enforcement. In Los Angeles, 2 weeks into President Trump's second term, and his efforts to crack down on illegal immigrants, federal officers continue to make arrests across the United States, including in Southern California. U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement agents have been targeting major sanctuary cities, including Los Angeles, immediately after President Trump's inauguration 2 Mondays ago. Los Angeles, Chicago, Atlanta, and other cities, including New York. ICE has been there and has been starting to transport these terrorists and gang members out of this country. I want to tell you this. Because of President Trump's order, 14,000 terrorists and gang members, 14,000 terrorists and gang members have now been transported out of the United States. ICE, Homeland Security, and the FBI are assisting President Trump in eliminating some of the problems. The problems are still there. The problems are rampant throughout this country. But as soon as Border Patrol, Customs Immigration Enforcement, and police and the FBI, ATF, and what was it? There was one other federal agency. They're all in there. They're going after these criminals that have been allowed to get out of jails from other countries and then come into this country to cause problems. Raping, murdering, and other instances, it's going to come to a screeching halt. Okay? Trump lifted long-time guidelines that restricted ICE from operating at sensitive locations such as schools, churches, and hospitals. It's come to an end. Since then, protesters and demonstrations opposing the president's immigration policies have taken place across the country. If you guys have been following, and I mentioned it last night briefly on our program here, we talked about the gangs and illegal immigrants in Los Angeles taking over highways and service streets, parading around, creating problems. Some of those people have now been arrested as well. They're not allowed to do this. Number one, they're illegal aliens. Number two, you can't protest against this country if you don't belong here. They're violating the law. Now they're being arrested. It's very interesting protesting against the United States carrying Mexican flags and Hamas and Palestinian flags. That's giving themselves a target on their own back. That's what they're doing. It should not have been allowed to happen, but it has. It's come to a screeching halt. In Los Angeles, protesters have gathered in the downtown LA, Riverside, Santa Ana, and San Diego and other major cities to show support for helping California be safe for immigrants. Trying to keep the illegal immigrants in this country. Protests have been held in downtown Los Angeles for 4 days in a row now, with people blocking streets, blocking traffic, blocking highways, blocking intersections throughout Los Angeles. Busy freeways come to a halt because these illegals got onto the highway. Remember, that's happened in other places. And what happened? They got hit by cars. They got hit by traffic that did not see them. It's illegal for anybody to get out on a highway. It's illegal for anyone to get out of their car on the highway and block traffic. But that's what these illegal people did in Los Angeles for the past 4 days. Students from the region staged a walkout Tuesday and yesterday in support of immigrant rights. I'm sorry, immigrants don't have rights here in the United States, but citizens do. Immigrants don't have rights in this country, but citizens do. In LA County, Los Angeles County, the ERO in Los Angeles said officers arrested 47-year-old non-citizen who was convicted of DUI. A non-citizen who was convicted of DUI. This non-citizen had been previously arrested for driving without a license and evading a police officer. Yesterday, officers arrested a non-citizen member of the Venezuela Tren de Aragua gang. He's now in ICE custody, Immigration Customs Enforcement custody, pending removal proceedings. The same day, the DEI arrested a Taiwanese man, who, according to Taiwan National Police, is a child predator. A child predator here in our country, with DUI offenses, and he also killed 2 people in Taiwan. He's now in custody here. Earlier this week in Las Vegas, authorities arrested a man with 3rd prior removal. He'd been ordered by judges 3 different times to be removed from this country. He was convicted of aggravated felony and battery assault, in addition to spousal abuse. He is also in ICE custody tonight, waiting to be removed to Mexico. It's unreal. Now, I want to just briefly talk about Social Security. Some of you and some of your own family members may be on Social Security, and this information might be very helpful to you. I want to talk about that. No, it's not an emergency, but it still needs to get out, and I'm going to share this information with you. The Social Security Administration has specific requirements for retirees over the age of 65 to continue to receive their benefits. Retirees must be aware of these conditions to maintain their benefits. For those who choose to work while collecting benefits, it's crucial to be mindful of their earnings. Reporting earnings above a certain threshold could risk their Social Security benefits. Reporting earnings above a certain threshold could risk your Social Security benefits. However, once individuals reach full retirement age, which is 67 right now, your earnings will no longer impact your benefits. Your earnings from a second job will not impact your benefits, regardless of the amount that you earn. The Social Security Administration will then recalculate the benefit amount, giving credit for months when the benefits were reduced or withheld due to excessive earnings. Once you reach the age of 67, your earnings don't affect the amount of money you get paid out of Social Security. The amount received depends on years worked and the earnings that you had during your professional career. Okay? Reporting earnings above a certain threshold could risk your Social Security benefits below that age. However, once individuals reach full retirement age of 67, your earnings will no longer impact your benefits, regardless of the amount of money that you earn. Okay, I want to make sure you understand that. Berlinda's asking, what about the marriage penalty? I don't think, I am married and I'm still getting my Social Security benefits. My being married didn't affect my benefits at all. At all. It didn't raise them up, but it didn't affect my benefits at all. They stayed the same. Again, the amount that you receive depends on the number of years and the amount of money that you earned prior to your going on Social Security. If earnings exceeded the annual income limit before reaching full retirement age, benefits are reduced by $1 for every $2 earned over the limit. If in the year a person reaches full retirement age. $1 is deducted for every $3 earned above a different limit. Okay? Once you reach full retirement age, $1 is deducted from every $3 earned above a certain limit. Considering only earnings up to the month before reaching full retirement age, retirees must understand these regulations to maximize their Social Security benefits and avoid potential reductions or to avoid being taxed further. And President Trump is working to see if he can make the Social Security tax system go away. He's working on that. Okay? Now, again, retirees must meet Social Security Administration requirements to retain their benefits. Something else also happened today. Okay? A heist. An egg heist. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. But I want to show you what happened. Eggs got stolen. A stolen trailer containing 100,000 chicken eggs stolen. A trailer containing 100,000 chicken eggs stolen from the trailer. Unreal. Now, before I get started into that, the supermarket where we usually shop for food is Walmart, 3 miles away from where we live. For about 3 weeks now, there have hardly been any eggs available, period. Not dozens, not 18-count eggs, and not 60-count egg cartons. There have been no eggs available except a couple different times when they've had even 6-count egg cartons. All the eggs are either bought or they never came in. Walmart and one other store, like it seems like it's like a Safeway, but it's called Food Lion here in Morganton, North Carolina. Similar to a Safeway. They were also without eggs. They didn't have them. Okay? But this heist of 100,000 eggs from the back of a trailer in Pennsylvania has become a whodunit. The police have yet to crack. Pun intended. Four days after this theft, law enforcement say could be tied to the high cost of eggs. No doubt. The high cost of eggs. Now, we have our family living in Utah, Colorado, in California, all over. They tell me that eggs are going for upwards of $40 to $50 for a 60-count eggs. 60-count eggs. $6 for 18 eggs. That's preposterous. And yes, sir, yes, Sage Pup was talking about someone that was saying the beef has now been infected with the bird flu. Okay, what they've done. What has the Biden administration, Department of Agriculture, done? They've gone to the farmers. They've gone to the farmers, and they've been saying, "Oh, we think that your birds have been infected with the bird flu, and as a result, we need to kill your birds. We need to kill your birds." Guess what? That's what they've done. Tens of thousands of chickens and turkeys and also ducks have been put to death because the Biden administration Department of Agriculture was worried about the bird flu. Now, I did some investigation into this a couple weeks ago, and we talked about this. Unreal. Totally unreal. Only one state here in this country, California, under Governor Newsom. Remember Governor Newsom? The bad guy? Incredible. He's the only state in this country that has the bird flu. And Newsom declared a state of emergency before President Trump became president. Incredible. Richard Smith says over in Nova Scotia, Canada, eggs are about $7.99 a dozen, $8 for a dozen of eggs. That's stupid. That is 4 times the amount of money that those eggs cost about 6 months ago. True story. Don Patoka says also an egg limit of 1 or 2 if you're lucky. Yeah. Carol and I bought a flat of eggs a while back. We still have that flat of eggs. We just got through going through the eggs that we had already in the refrigerator, and now we're starting to work on those flat of eggs we just bought. 60 eggs. So it's going to be a while before we need eggs, but I'm sure those of you that need them can't get them. Unreal. 4 days after the theft of eggs, law enforcement officials said it could be tied to the high cost of eggs. No leads have come in on the stolen trailer of eggs. Trooper First Class Megan Frazier, a spokesman for the Pennsylvania State Police, said yesterday, we are relying on leads from people from the community. So we're hoping that someone or somebody knows what happened. They'll call us and give us some information, give us some tips, we hope. Police are following up with any possible witnesses, and they're looking into surveillance footage that could also help them to identify the perpetrator that ran off with a trailer full of 100,000 chicken eggs. They're hoping to catch the perpetrator that went off and stole the trailer containing 100,000 chicken eggs to solve the mystery. The trooper said, in my career, I've never heard of 100,000 eggs being stolen. This is definitely unique. Trooper Fraser has a dozen years on her job. 12 years on her job, and this is the first time she's seen or heard of any eggs being stolen, and that 100,000, preposterous. Bird flu is facing farmers around this country. Bird flu is forcing farmers to slaughter millions of chickens a month, pushing U.S. egg prices to more than double their costs in the summer of 2023. It appears there may be no relief in sight with Easter rapidly approaching. Easter is approaching, I believe, the end of March or first part of April. But there's no relief yet. I'm saying yet. Now, it was the Biden administration's Department of Agriculture that was pushing the bird flu agenda. And like I said, it was only California that was flying through with a state of emergency. Whether that was really the case or not, California was slaughtering birds. It's not going on anywhere else in the country. However, it could. It could. It happened a few years back when Biden had chickens and turkeys and ducks being slaughtered by the millions. I heard back then, a couple years ago, that the Department of Agriculture down here in the deep south here in the United States has slaughtered over 1 million turkeys. Slaughtered over 1 million turkeys. Unreal. But again, there's no relief in sight yet with Easter approaching. The average price per dozen eggs anywhere in the nation was hit at $4.15 a dozen in December. And now, we've already heard here in the chat, $7.99 a dozen up in Nova Scotia, Canada, where Richard works and lives. Incredible. Just incredible. Now, that is not quite as high as a $4.82 record set 2 years ago. But the Agriculture Department predicts egg prices are going to soar another 20% this year. Egg prices are going to go off the rocks. 20% more this year. Bird flu, they say, is forcing farmers to slaughter millions of chickens a month, pushing U.S. egg prices to more than double their cost summer 2023. It appears there may be no relief in sight. Sad. Sad. 100,000 eggs disappeared from that truck at the Pete and Jerry's organic distribution trailer on Saturday in Pennsylvania, in Atrium Township in Pennsylvania, and it happened approximately at 8:40 p.m. one evening last week. Stole 100,000 eggs. Those eggs are worth about $40,000, which means that this crime is a felony. This crime is a felony in Pennsylvania. Peter and Jerry's Organic Farm LLC said in a statement that the company is working with law enforcement to investigate this theft. We take this matter seriously and we are committed to resolving it as soon as possible, according to the statement. Now again, Pam Bondi was sworn in as the United States Attorney General last night. That's also going to help with the prosecution of cases all over this country. She's going to help President Trump do that. Now, as I stated before, Pam Bondi's frees funding for sanctuary cities after she was sworn in as Attorney General. She froze funding for these sanctuary cities, meaning if they don't release the illegal aliens that they have in their cities or their counties, they will lose federal funds. They'll lose federal funds. Their roadways won't get repaired because they won't have federal funds for that. Other federal funds could also disappear if those governors and mayors don't turn over the illegal aliens. Okay? That's what's happening. Okay? Pam Bondi's also ordered a freeze on federal funding to sanctuary cities. Total order a freeze on funding to sanctuary cities. Not going to allow it. While on campaign, President Trump had vowed to pull funding from cities that refused to cooperate with federal immigration authorities. Since taking office, he's pursued deportation efforts across his country, including sanctuary cities in Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and all up and down throughout the country. Bondi's funding freeze came amidst a series of one-day orders for the new Attorney General, which also included a directive to clamp down on political weaponization within the agency. No more going after political opponents. Now, she said, "Thank you, Mr. President. I've known you for many, many years. I will not let you down." She said she was truly honored that President Trump had asked her to take the Attorney General's role. She said, "I will make you proud and I will make this country proud." Now, I want to talk also about something that happened with the plane crash in Philadelphia this past Friday night. Very sad situation happened. Very, very sad situation happened in Philadelphia. As you heard, the plane went down in Philly, did it? 7 people on the plane were killed, unfortunately. 1 person in a car was also killed when the plane hit the pavement. The flight recorder for the plane was found 8 feet deep inside of a pit in the middle of a roadway. 8 feet down inside a pit in the middle of a roadway. Now, if that's not bad enough, 27 other people were hurt. 27 other people were hurt. Now, I want to tell you the story of a 10-year-old boy. A 10-year-old boy is making a miraculous recovery in a hospital after protecting his sister from flying debris of a medical transport plane that crashed in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania last Friday night. When the little 10-year-old boy woke up from surgery, he didn't even realize that he had been struck by a piece of the plane. A piece of the plane landed in his skull. They moved him immediately to surgery. The doctors took it out. Now the boy is recovering in the hospital in Philly. The little boy was covering his sister with his body to protect her from flying debris from the transport plane. When he woke up after the surgery, he looked at his dad and said, "Daddy, did I save my sister?" That was the first words out of his mouth as Trey Howard asked his dad what happened. He had brain surgery to remove that piece of plane, and it was successful. Andre Howard Jr. said that they had gone out for donuts with 3 of his kids when the plane crashed on Friday night. Andre Howard said it sounded like a missile was firing bullets. Metal flying all over. Metal hit his car and everyone else's car in the area. WPVI television in Philly said that Howard said he immediately backed up his car while his son covered his sister with his body. His son said, "Get down." 10-year-old Trey Howard said, "Get down," and he covered his sister's body with his own. He grabbed his sister and held her tight. Mr. Howard said he heard the glass shatter from windows in his car. He said, "I turned around and there was a piece of metal sticking out of my son's head from the plane." Andre Howard said he used socks and another man's shirt in an attempt to stop the bleeding in the boy's head. A police officer rushed him to the hospital. Doctors warned the family that he might not survive, but he has improved every day since. He woke up from surgery and almost immediately asked his father, after his father assured him that his little sister was all right, that he had saved his sister's life. The little boy said, "Did I miss the Super Bowl?" "No, you did not. The Super Bowl hasn't been played." The Philadelphia Eagles are playing in the Super Bowl down in New Orleans, Louisiana, this coming Sunday. The Philadelphia Eagles are going to meet with the Kansas City Chiefs. The Philadelphia Eagles are young Howard's favorite team. Again, the plane crash in Philadelphia killed 7 people aboard the plane. 6 people aboard the plane. It killed all 6 people aboard the Learjet 55, which was a medical transport ambulance, including a young girl and her mother, where the young girl was receiving medical treatment at Shriners Hospital. Also on the plane were a flying doctor and nurse and the 2 pilots. Total 6 people killed in the plane in Pennsylvania. And like I said, the plane made a huge crater in the roadway, 8 feet deep. Children's Hospital in Philadelphia also said Stephen Druitt, 37 of Philadelphia, was found inside a vehicle that was traveling near the crash and was also killed, while 24 other people on the ground were injured. City police announced yesterday that Druitt's remains have been identified by the city's medical examiner's office. Officials have repeatedly said the number of casualties may change as the investigation continues, but they believe they found all the victims so far. All the homes that have been damaged by the debris from the plane have been sealed off now until the investigation is finished. And the investigation has just barely really gotten underway. It's been going now almost a week. Very sad state of affairs. Does anyone have any questions about anything we talked about? I want to make sure we've talked about everything here. I think it's important. Shirley says she hopes that the 10-year-old recovers. I agree. It's not often that children have pieces of a plane thrown into their head. Yet, a piece of plane was removed, and the child is still here with us today. And I want to say, let's have a moment of silence for the people that were killed in Philadelphia. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. I appreciate that. Any other questions? Any other questions about the plane or Pam Bondi or immigration? Yes, we don't have any more questions. Okay, guys, I want to switch over to earthquakes now. As all of you know, and we talked about it last night, we have had a lot of earthquakes over in the Greece area, in the region. Let me take down our webcam here, my pretty smiling face there. I want to show you what's going on there. Okay? Let's take it over from the Pacific Ocean over here to the Aegean Sea over in Greece. Right here. As I said last night, the USGS is not showing all the earthquakes. They're not showing all the earthquakes still. Today there were 2 4.9 earthquakes and they got downgraded. There was 2 instances today where we had a 4.0 earthquake and it was upgraded to a 4.3. Let's take a look at what we see today here. This is a 4.6. Now I'm not going to show all earthquakes. I'm just going to do a random check here. This earthquake is a 4.5. This earthquake is a 4.3. This is a 4.1. This is a 4.1. This is a 4.0. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, most of these earthquakes are 4.0 and larger, upwards to 4.9. Okay? Earth is still rattling here. The Earth is still rattling. Now, our dear friend Volcano, Sleeping Volcano, has a messenger thread called Quakes and Volcanoes. She's been doing a great job keeping up with all these earthquakes. Now, she also said today in the thread, and I echoed this last night, we have magma down here beneath the surface. And yes, USGS has somewhat denied it, but it's still true. Each one of these islands here was made by a volcano. Each one of these islands here was made by a volcano, including this one. Now, no, I do not know all the names of these islands here. This one here, for example. See this area here that looks like a great big hollowed out O here? Right in the middle of there is the summit of the volcano. Right in the middle was the summit of the volcano. What happened here? When this volcano last erupted, it tore this island apart. When this volcano last erupted, it tore this island apart. That's why you see this huge void with water in it. And you see this island here. That island is the summit of the volcano. Okay? As I said, each one of these islands was created by a volcano. We have magma racing into the volcanoes now. Magma is going into the volcanoes because the volcanoes are recharging. The volcanoes are recharging. In this case, yes, we do have, and I understand, we do have some earthquake faults in this area. We do have some earthquake faults in this area. But notice where all these earthquakes are located. Notice where all these earthquakes are located. It's in general a circular area here. That leads us all to believe that what is actually happening is not just a regular seismic earthquake. All these earthquakes are being caused by magma going to these volcanoes. All these earthquakes are being caused by magma attempting to get to these volcanoes. The magma is down beneath the surface, trying to get through the bedrock. The magma is under pressure getting to the volcanoes. It's forcing the bedrock to separate, which causes earth movement, which is causing earthquakes. As the magma continues to push through the bedrock, we will continue to see earthquakes in this area. Now, we may also see a volcanic eruption. We may also see a volcanic eruption here in the Dokanese Islands here in Greece. It's all these islands here west of Turkey here. This is Turkey over here to the west, to our right here. These islands just off the west coast of Turkey belong to Greece. They're called the Dokanese Islands. Each island was made by a volcano. Lava cooled from that volcano and it left land out here in the middle of the water. Okay? Each of these islands are formed by lava. Coming up as magma, lava cooling off at the surface, forming an island. That's what we're seeing here. Okay? I want to make this perfectly clear. Okay? Again, USGS is denying the magma theory, but I don't believe it's a theory. It's actually what is actually going on. Okay? Yes, and each and every one of those islands was created by a volcano. Okay? That's why we have these earthquakes hitting. And USGS is not showing any other earthquakes either near Turkey, in Turkey, or over here to the west here over Greece. Why not? There are plenty of earthquakes happening. Plenty of earthquakes happening. Now I'm going to leave this up for just a minute. I'm going to go over to my tablet. I'm going to show you the earthquakes on my app, my earthquake app here on my tablet. I want you to see what is actually going on. Because again, having the USGS deny what's going on That's called a lie of omission. Okay? You can't do that. You're not supposed to be able to do that. You have to tell the truth. You have to tell the truth no matter whether they want to do it or not. But they don't give a darn. They don't give a darn. Let me take this USGS map down. I'm going to now bring up a webcam. I'm going to show you what is really going on over there in Turkey and the various areas around there. Okay? If you guys would just bear with me. I want to show you what is really going on here. Look at this, guys. There are still over 200 earthquakes there. There are still over 200 earthquakes there. USGS not going to show it, are they? Not at all. Look at all these earthquakes over to the left of there in Greece. But 200 earthquakes are still hitting over there in the Dokanese Islands here. Nothing's changed. Nothing has changed. However, there's no 5.0, 5.5, 5.3 earthquakes happening here today. That could change. That could change. Earthquakes are still happening. That's what I want to show you. Earthquakes are still there. Today, over in mainland Greece, we have 20 earthquakes here. Mainland Greece has over 20 earthquakes there. Probably close to 30 earthquakes. 30 earthquakes all over mainland Greece. Okay? Let's go over here to Italy. Look at these earthquakes in southern Italy here. Look at the earthquakes here in southern Italy and Sicily. Really, really quick. Look at those earthquakes over here in northern Sicily. Off the coast of Sicily. I'm going to bring this up. This is a 2.0 earthquake here. This is off the coast of Sicily. 2.0, 1.8, and a 2.4 here. Minor earthquakes and a tremor. Minor earthquakes and tremor here in Sicily. Let's go up here to central Italy. Central Italy is still having earthquakes. Central Italy is still having earthquakes. 20 plus earthquakes here in central Italy. Yes, we have those down here in Sicily and southern Italy here. But 20 plus earthquakes here in central Italy. At some point in time, we're going to have a large earthquake here in central Italy. It's a matter of time. We also have evacuations happening over here on the west coast of Italy. Why? Because they are afraid that the volcano is going to erupt right here. Okay? Camp Fuegre, I think it's called. Campi Fuegre in Italy. Okay? All kinds of earthquakes happening there as well. We go up to northern Italy, going up into the Alps Mountains here. Alps Mountains right here. Look at all these earthquakes here. I don't know what. Look at all these earthquakes in northern Italy here. Northwestern Italy, going over here into the Alps Mountains here. Okay? All those earthquakes, these earthquakes are 2.3. Okay, over in the Western Alps here, there's a 2.3 earthquake there. And I'm just going to pick some other earthquakes out here. 2.3, 1.5 in the Northern Alps there. 1.5 there. Over in the Northeastern Alps, 1.2 earthquake over here in Italy. 1.2 tremor here in Italy. Just east of there, Venezia, Italy. We talked about Venezia, Italy yesterday. 0.9 microquake here. So all through the Alps here, all through the Alps here, All through the Alps here, these are mostly tremors. However, over here on the western side here, we have a 2.3 minor earthquake. Okay? Let's go up here into France. Actually, this isn't France, I'm sorry. This is the border area of France and Germany. This is a 1.8 tremor here. Border area of France and Germany. We go south here. This is France here. Grand Est France. This is a 2.4 earthquake here. Okay? Let's go continue west here. We have another 2.3 here. Okay? Now I'm just going to call up these numbers here. West of there, a 2.1. West of there, a 2.1. This is also 2.1. Let's look at these earthquakes over here in France, right here. Let's look at all these earthquakes. They form a pattern, don't they? All these earthquakes here form a pattern, a grid-based pattern. What do you think is happening over in France? What do you think these grid-based patterns mean in France? We're talking about earthquakes here. Earthquakes over here in western France. What's going on? Any ideas, guys? We've seen this happen in Spain a couple of years ago. It's happening in northern Mexico. It's happening here. It's happened here in the United States. It's happened in Alaska. It's happened literally all over the world. What do you think is going on? Grid-based earthquakes. What is going on? Shirley says patterning along the fault lines or where the plates meet the borders? No. That's not it. How about deep underground military bases? DUMBs. Deep underground military bases. Okay? They're being blown up. Each of those earthquakes are 2.1 to 2.2. They're in a grid pattern. Deep underground military bases being destroyed beneath the ground. That's what's happened in the past. I'm sure that is still happening here. And this is the first time we've had that happen in France. Okay? Before, over here in southern Spain, we've seen this happen right here. At one point in time, a couple of years ago, we had 50 earthquakes here and tremors. The earthquakes range in size from 1.0 all the way up to 2.2. Each of these earthquakes were 1.0 tremor to 2.2 earthquake. Okay? Deep underground military bases being destroyed, blown up. That's what's going on. Now, I'm going to show you this earthquake here. Okay? This is a 2.2 right there. It's a 2.2. Let's tap that out and find out how deep this is. Guess what? I don't know whether you can see this or not, but I want to show it to you nonetheless. 0.0 depth. Nearly a surface quake. 2.2 surface quake here. Let's check out another one here. Check out another one. This is a 2.0. Let's see how deep this one is. This is 3.1 miles deep. 3.1 miles deep. Okay? Now that doesn't figure into what we've been saying about deep underground military bases. Usually when we have these earthquakes in grid-like pattern, they're all the same depth. So one was a surface quake, 0.0 depth. One was 3.1 miles deep. Here's a 2.1 here. Let's check the depth on that. This is also 3.1 miles deep. 3.1 miles deep. Let's check around here. So now we have two 3.1 miles deep. There's another 2.1 here. Let's see how deep this one is. Guess what? 3.1 miles deep. 3.1 miles deep, guys. Guess what? We have them taking out deep underground military bases over in France. Deep underground military bases being destroyed. Charlene is asking, are these bases remnants of World War II? Possibly. But I'm more willing to believe they're being destroyed because they recently were built within the last 10 or 15 years. I'll bet on it. I will bet on it. I've seen this happen in northern Mexico. I've seen this happen in Southern California. I've seen this happen in Washington State. I've seen it happen all over the world. Another one here. This is a 2.0 earthquake. 2.0 earthquake. Let's check this out too. Guess what? 3.1 miles deep. 3.1 miles deep. These are deep underground military bases. I know my buddy Don Patoga's seen us talk about this before. Unreal. This is France. And I thought this might never happen again. And yet, it's happened here. When it happened in Spain a few years ago, my buddy Larry said, Ron, and he called me. Larry used to call me when he seen this happen before. He said, Ron, we have more underground military bases being destroyed, and that's what's going on here. Almost all these earthquakes are 3.1 miles deep over here in France. And they're in a small grid-like pattern. Okay? Incredible. Incredible. Now, see this line of earthquakes here in western France here? Right here? Let's check this out. Okay? Up here to the north. Saint-Pires-sur-Aveyah, Pays de Loire, France. This is a 2.3 earthquake. 2.3 earthquake right there. Let's check and see how deep that is as well. Guess what? 3.1 miles deep. 3.1 miles deep. How about the one just south of there? Check that out. This is Roifay-Nouvelle, Aquitaine, France. Another 2.3 earthquake right here. Let's check out the depth of that. Guess what? 3.1 miles deep. Almost all these are 3.1 miles deep, guys. One more just south of there. These are lined up in north-south direction. This one is a 2.1. .1 miles deep. Deep underground military bases in France being destroyed. Unreal. Surgery saw this also when it last happened a couple years ago. It's happening again. It's happening again. It's crazy, guys. I never thought it would happen again. Never in my wildest imagination did I think it would happen again, but now it's happening in France. Over here in northern Spain, right along the border with Portugal. Here in northern Spain, right along the border with Portugal, we have a 2.3 earthquake right here. Okay, let's, just for kicks and giggles, check out the depth of this one. This is 4.7 miles deep. Okay, that's a 2.3. South of there, over here, this one is actually in Portugal. It's a 1.9 tremor here. Southern Portugal, right along the border of France and Portugal. Let's check out the depth of that one. This one is 5.6 miles deep. It doesn't fit with the other earthquakes. Okay? It doesn't have anything to do with deep underground military bases. Now, let's go over to the Atlantic Ocean. Over to the Atlantic Ocean. Out here, off the coast of northern Portugal, we have a 4.3 earthquake here in the northern Atlantic. 4.3 moderate earthquake right there, off the coast of Portugal. Let's go down into the Canary Islands. The Canary Islands. Let's go first over to La Palma. Let's go over to La Palma. This is a 2.0 earthquake here in La Palma. This is where we have the earthquake, or the volcano that went off for almost 9 months. La Palma Island, Canary Islands. Okay, this one is in El Paso, La Palma. The town of El Paso in La Palma. Okay, this is a 2.0 earthquake here. It's over here on the southern backbone of La Palma Island. The volcano's up here. This is the volcano. The last eruption was over here. Okay, right about in here. This earthquake is here along the backbone of the island. It's also part of the volcano. This is also part of the volcano. When the volcano last erupted, El Paso also had damage as a result of lava coming down the side of the mountain. Okay, El Paso, La Palma Island. That was a 2.0 minor earthquake. 2.0 minor earthquake. Over in the Canary Islands, we have 3 other earthquakes. Really quick. I'm going to show you these earthquakes north to south and over here to the east. 1, 2, and further over here, number 3 over here. Right there. Okay? To the north there. It's not near any island there, but this is a 3.3 earthquake here. South over here, we have a 1.8. That's a 1.8. And further up here to the east, this is a 2.4 earthquake there. Those other earthquakes are nowhere near the island, except for that one over on La Palma Island, is over on the backbone of the volcano fault line over there in La Palma Island. Now, I'm going to take you briefly up to Iceland. Up to Iceland. We have a 2.8 earthquake here. Look where that earthquake is located right there. What do you think this is? This is the volcano, guys. That is the volcano. Last time that erupted, it closed down air traffic all over Europe. How? Because there was a huge ash eruption up to like 35,000 feet high, up into the stratosphere. 35,000 foot eruption, and the ash cloud, the ash and the CO2 and SO2, sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide in that cloud containing ash flew over Europe. That cloud flew with the winds over Europe. close down air traffic all over Europe. Now, I don't believe this is going to happen now. We only have one earthquake. We only have this 2.8 earthquake here. But I'm just telling you, the last time that erupted, it closed down air traffic all over Europe. Right now, it's underneath an ice sheet. It's underneath an ice sheet there in Iceland. A 2.8 earthquake there. We had two other earthquakes, two moderate earthquakes up here north of Iceland, up here near Svalbard here on the mid-Atlantic fault here. Okay? Two earthquakes here yesterday. Let's go down and just check something. We have no earthquakes on the mid-Atlantic fault at all. We have no other earthquakes on the mid-Atlantic fault. Yesterday up here in the central part of the mid-Atlantic, we had one earthquake here of 4.9, that I believe was actually a 5.0, that was right here. Today it's not there. But that doesn't mean we're not going to see more earthquakes up here in the North Mid-Atlantic. Yes, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. Over here in Central or South America, look at all these earthquakes all over the coastal areas of Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and all the way down here to central Chile. Earthquakes all up and down the coastal areas. In southern Chile, off the coast of southern Chile, this is the 4.8 earthquake down here. 4.8 moderate earthquake. Further off the coast near Easter Island, on the West Chile Rise. This is a 4.6. 4.6 earthquake. Let's go briefly north. Over here, right up here near Antofagasta and Tarapacá, Chile here, we have 20 plus earthquakes right here. 20 plus earthquakes right there, including earthquakes over here in Peru, Ecuador, and Colombia. I'm going to just talk out some earthquakes in Peru. Right here. 4.0 earthquake at the coastline of Peru, southern Peru. 4.0 moderate earthquake. Right next to it, another 3.8. Going north. This is Caramaca, Peru. This is 3.8. 3.8. Further north, this is Ecuador. Allí Marana, Santiago, Ecuador. This is another 4.2 earthquake. We have a bunch of fours here. Going up into Colombia. We have three earthquakes here. This is near Jordan, Colombia. This is a 4.8 earthquake. 4.8 earthquake there, and two other earthquakes here. Right next to it, another 2.6, and off to Venezuela, we have a 2.9. A 2.9 over in Venezuela. Okay? Now, 20 plus earthquakes over here in Central America. 20 plus earthquakes here in Central America. Most of those are in Costa Rica. Costa Rica, El Salvador, and Nicaragua. Further north here, southern Mexico. Southern Mexico. Guess what? There are 20 plus earthquakes over there in southern Mexico. 20 plus earthquakes right here. Okay? They range in size from 3.9, 3.7, 2.6. Over here, southeast of Mexico City, we have a 1.6 here. All the others here along the coastline here are 3s and 4s here. Going north, 3.7. Near Michoacan, Mexico at the coastline. Again, this is a resort area. Resort area right there. That is a 3.4. But right next to it, going north, we have three other earthquakes. Okay? 3.6, 3.4, another 3.4 at the coastline. A set of threes there. Going north, This again is a part of the resort area of southern Mexico. This is 3.1 and also 3.5 near Jalisco, Mexico, right there. Okay. Now, out here, and this is off the coast of Mexico, out into probably close to 400 miles off the coast. This is a 4.6 earthquake here. 4.6 earthquake. I believe this is the North Chile Rise here. North Chile Rise. Okay. Over here, Cabo San Lucas. Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, right here. We're still getting earthquakes here. Swarm of earthquakes there. These earthquakes, just for kicks and giggles, over there in Cabo, we have like 10 earthquakes here. 10 earthquakes today in Cabo. This is the most earthquakes I've seen in Cabo San Lucas area in a very long time. Usually we've had 1 or 2, 3 or 4, but never 10 here. Just for kicks and giggles here. 3.1. 3.1 on the west side of Cabo. Okay. North of there, a 2.9. Let's go down here to Cabo here. 1.7, 2.0, 1.3, 2.4, and 1.9. Basically tremors and minor earthquakes here. Tremors and minor earthquakes over here in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. Okay? Now, we can go north into the Gulf of California. This is a 4.1 earthquake here. Earthquakes coming out of Mexico, coming up here. This is the San Andreas Fault. This is the San Andreas Fault going north up here into the Gulf of California. Okay. Notice these other earthquakes further to the north here, at the mouth of the Gulf. Okay. Let's quickly look at this. This is northern Baja California. 3.7 north of San Felipe. 3.7. 3.7, 3.4, 3.2, 3.4. Mid-range threes right there. Also on the San Andreas Fault. Interesting. Then we get up to the border region of California and Mexico. Right at the border, just south of the border, we have a 3.5. That's a 3.5 at the border of Mexico and California. Mexico and the Imperial Valley of California. We go north into the Imperial Valley. Calexico. Calexico, guys. This is a 1.33 tremor. 1.33 tremor. Just to the east of there. Holtville. 16 miles east of Holtville. This is also 3.4. A small earthquake. But they're still not telling us about all the other earthquakes in the Imperial Valley. They're showing 4 earthquakes here in the Imperial Valley. There's over 200, maybe close to 300 earthquakes here in the Imperial Valley of Southern California. Salton Butte volcanoes here. Just for kicks and giggles. This is the Imperial Valley. There's the Salton Sea. Right here. We have the Salton Butte volcano here, just underwater on the southern side of the Salton Sea. The Salton Butte volcano, and it's an active volcano. We say it could erupt at any time. Salton Butte volcano. Now, over here. I've talked about this before. I'm going to talk about it right now. This is Bombay Beach. Bombay Beach here. Folks, here we've seen 3.5, 4.0 earthquakes every day. About a dozen 3.5, 4.0 earthquakes every day. Every day. Bombay Beach. We're not showing them here. We're not showing them here. Why? They don't want anybody to know what exactly is going on. There's earthquakes up and down the entire San Andreas Fault. They're not showing them. They're not showing them. San Diego County, Pine Valley. This is a 1.06 tremor. East San Diego County. Let's go further north. 10 plus earthquakes here. Borrego Springs, California. San Diego County, Anza Borrego Desert State Park. 10 plus earthquakes here. 1.22. Then over here in Julian. The Apple capital of San Diego. Julian, California has a swarm of quakes. They have a swarm of quakes. Julian is an apple town, guys. They raise apples there. They harvest them in the fall. And in the winter, like it is now, you can go over to any one of the restaurants there in Julian and have a hot apple pie or apple cider at the restaurants. There are bed and breakfasts and small hotels over here in Julian. We have some tremors here. We have a swarm. I'm going to call it a swarm rather than a cache, because a cache might be 3 or 4 or 5 earthquakes. This is more than that. 0.65. 0.65, and we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 earthquakes here in Julian. 11 earthquakes here in Julian. That 0.65 was a microquake. Really briefly, 0.52, 0.89, 1.28, 0.89, 0.26, 0.65, they're all tremors and microquakes. Tremors and microquakes over here in Julian, California, East San Diego County. East San Diego County right there. Okay? That's what's going on. Let's go over to LA. The LA region. Look at this. They're only showing us a few earthquakes. I can guarantee you there's probably 200 earthquakes in Los Angeles right now. I can guarantee you that because I've seen it. Okay, right here. This is Lenox, California. This is a 1.94 tremor. 1.94 tremor. Off the coast of Malibu. Los Feliz, California. This is a 1.26 tremor. 1.26 off the coast of Malibu. Further north and east. Westwood, California, 1.33 tremor. North of there. Now we're getting to Chatsworth, California. We've had large earthquakes in Chatsworth in the last 20, 30 years. Here in Chatsworth, we have a 1.18 tremor. Okay? That's it over in LA. Except Corona, California is 0.42 microquake. Corona, California. Also here, Mira Loma, California, Loma Linda, 1.04 and 0.46. All these are microquakes and tremors that are showing, but I guarantee you, there are also minor earthquakes, 2.0, 2.9, and 3.5 to 4.0 earthquakes happening all over Los Angeles, and they're not even showing it. They're not showing it at all. Now, does anybody have questions about any of these earthquakes? Does anybody have questions about any of these earthquakes? I want to make sure we address everything. I've taken you on a trip quick around the world. I want to make sure you have your questions answered. Any questions, guys? Richard Smith says here in the chat, he was talking to Don Patoka here in the chat saying, sometimes he feels like hunter gathering. Training may be appropriate in the future. Yeah, we could do that. We could talk about hunting and gathering food for supply kits or food for survival. We definitely can do that. Don Pateau is talking about communication here. Communication between family and friends is paramount. Discuss your limits. Know what your limits are. Know what your limits are. Analyze and organize them. Know your plan of action. Adapt and overcome. Those are all good things to have and know. Richard Smith says the earth is like it is singing that song. Sending out an SOS. Pretty much. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Anybody have any questions? No questions, I'm surprised. I'm really surprised. Okay, Aubrey's here. Aubrey, thank you for being here. I talked to Aubrey here on the phone earlier. We appreciate you being here. Thank you for being here, Aubrey. You're great. Now, folks, if you guys don't have any questions, Charlene says great program tonight. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I want to share a scripture with you. I've shared it with you in the past. It's one of my favorites. There may be people here tonight that haven't been here before. I want to share a scripture here. This comes from the book of Romans. Okay? Acts, Romans, 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, and on. This is in Acts. I'm sorry, it's not Acts. It's in Romans chapter 1, verse 16. And I'm sharing this here because it's precious to me. Okay? For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believeth, to the Jew first, and also to the Greek. Everybody. The gospel of Jesus Christ is for everyone. Last night we talked about sharing the gospel. It's up to each one of us to share the gospel to our family, our friends, and our neighbors and associates. All of us have that responsibility. Let us all not be ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. It's truly the way to salvation. Way to salvation in the Lord's kingdom. Let's share the gospel, guys. Please. Let us share the gospel of Jesus Christ to everyone we know. The world would be a better place if we would do that. The world would definitely be a better place if we all shared the gospel. Please, let's not be shy about the gospel. Everybody should know that. Okay? Don says, God helps those willing to do the work. Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, I love and appreciate each and every one of you. I want to thank our mods for being here. I don't often say enough about thanking our mods, but we have the best mod squad in the business. I love all of you. I love all of our EMA family here. Those people that just joined us here, either in the chat or on the program they're watching, please subscribe to this channel. And also, click on the notification bell as well. When you see that notification bell come up, click on it. Then click on the word ALL. That should get you notified when we come on the air. Goodbyes. Come on the air every Monday through Friday between 6 and 7 o'clock most of the time. Occasionally it's sometime later than that. But between 6 and 7 every night, come on the air. On Sundays, we do a Sunday school program called Come Follow Me, the Savior Said, at 12:30 noon on Sundays. We appreciate you all coming to see us then. Tomorrow, Fridays, we do a Preparedness Friday. Friday, I'm going to try to talk my wife into going out to a dance with me, a Valentine's dance at our church Friday night. If I do that, I will probably come on the air before 6 p.m. for a short time, probably about 4 p.m. in the afternoon tomorrow night. But we will be talking about emergency preparedness for all kinds of emergencies, not just earthquakes, not just floods, not just bad weather or tornadoes. Any kind of disaster or emergency that you might face. We will talk about preparing for those things on our program tomorrow night. Bring questions for us. Please bring questions. Write them down so you can ask questions of me tomorrow night. Okay? Tomorrow night is Preparedness Friday. I love each and every one of you. I want to thank all of you for being here with us. God bless you. God be with you until we meet again. Have a good night. If anything else happens tonight or in the morning, we will be back on the air as soon as the information becomes available. Until then, God be with you until we meet again. Have a good night, folks. I love you all very much. We'll see you on the other side. See you later. Good night. Right there.